Hey, Stephen Yonti here in a private physical therapy clinic because I got encephalitis back in September and haven't been able to do new videos for the Junkyard Crawl. But in the meantime, we figure something's better than nothing. And a lot of people don't realize that we've got something like 330 videos in the channel playlist for the Stephen Yonti YouTube channel. So if you're having withdrawal from no new videos, you can actually check out some of the classics that you might not have seen before. And in the meantime, before we get rolling with this, we're going to run a bunch of heavy-duty truck videos in a string of maybe 10 of them. So every day you'll get a good fix of Mack trucks, Diamond T's, Rios, Peterbilts. Well, no Peterbilts, actually. Those are a little too big for the junkyard. But basically Ford and GMC, even Toro Flow V6 diesels. Crazy stuff. So we're going to run those things in the next several days. So please stay tuned to the Steve Maggs YouTube channel. By all means, give us a thumbs up. And quickly, I want to thank Rick DeBrule and Tyler Hoover for keeping the channel alive in December and January and really stepping up. So thanks, guys. Well, roll the tape. Hey, Stephen Yonti here doing the Junkyard Crawl with assistance from our friends at High Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts. Thank you, guys. We're looking right here at the Cadillac of trucks, the Diamond T. This is a 1940 up, and the whole thing about Diamond T, it was founded in 1905 by Charles Tilt, T for Tilt. He was a shoe manufacturer who tried his hands at building cars and then trucks. But the thing is, Diamond T trucks were generally a cut above. And in 1938, Cadillac came out with a beautiful horizontally finned grille. Well, for 1940, Diamond T emulated the look of that 10-bar Cadillac grille and thus earned the title the Cadillac of trucks. But beyond that, Diamond T rarely made more than 7,000 trucks per year, which was minuscule, but they were upscale, heavy-duty trucks with a sense of style and grace not found in like a Ford or a GMC. The hood ornament on this thing is beautiful. We see right here this beautiful chrome casting here. It's die cast with Diamond T. Again, Charles Tilt, T for Tilt. Diamond and T means the top of the line, elegance. Here we have the exposed headlights here made by Guide Division, which was a General Motors company, but they supplied stuff to whoever wanted to buy it. But exposed torpedo-style headlights, even chrome here on the front valance. Again, a classy truck with a lot of unnecessary glitz, but made them stand apart from the crowd. The cab on these things looks chopped, but again, the windshield on these have a 30-degree slope, which gave them a very streamlined look. Meanwhile, Fords and Chevys were more vertical and workmanlike, but top looks chopped, and it kind of is. It's just a low-profile, well-styled truck. Full pontoon-style fenders, which were the rage of the day, but these were not lightweights. Forged spoke wheels, split rims, of course. Stand clear when you air these things up, at least do it right. But here we have massive, heavy-duty 5-ton suspension on this thing, probably even higher than that. No stamped steel on these puppies. These were heavy-duty work trucks under the pretty skin. Under the hood, now Diamond T was an independent. They didn't have the funds to make their own engine, so this is the Flathead 6, which was made by Hercules. But it's kind of interesting. Look at this. Oh, hang on. Yeah, these are made by Hercules to Diamond specs. If you look here, it says Diamond Special Balanced. Look at that. Counterbalanced engine. So the manifold has that special logo cast into it. So Hercules made these to order for Diamond T. But again, Diamond T did not make their own engines at this point in time. Hercules, which was sort of like a Continental or a Waukesha, they made engines for other companies. But again, dual electric horns, something that was pretty upscale in a truck at this point in time. Massive generator, of course, going to be a 6-volter. And at this point, V-belts were still in the future. So this would have had more a wide, just sort of a flat face belt right there, did the job. You can see the adjuster right here to make the belt tighter or looser. You just take that nut, loosen it up, pry the fan up and down. And again, very workmanlike. But again, all of this hard mechanical stuff hiding under a very graceful skin. This door is closed up. So shut down the video for a second, walk around the back. We'll see you in a second. Okay, this one was built out with a flatbed body and currently serves as a storage rack for a bunch of rear axles. And let's take a second to identify these things. This one is a Chrysler. The flange here is something that was used on Mopars till about 1957 or so. And here's another Mopar. This is the 8 3/4 right here. And this is a more modern one, but it's not into the 60s. It still has the U-bolt with the sort of forged flange. U-bolt, or the companion flange, the yoke. Yeah, another Mopar 8 3/4 right here. This is a more recent design with the flat machine faces, and it takes straps. And oh, this is special right here. Okay, these are a couple of Chevy rear axles. These are dropout style right here, and we can see this bracket welded to themselves. These are 58 through 64 for sure, but notice this one here, that round aluminum tab. It says use positive traction fluid only, right? And what that is, that's an alert that when this differential service, to use a lubricant with a friction modifier for the positive traction plates. Compared to this one here, this is just a regular open diff. There's no plate on that. So the big question, is the P-case positive traction still here? No, somebody robbed it. But again, positive traction was new in Chevrolets, I believe in 57. And if you have a Corvette, that P-case positive traction center can be worth a couple $1,000 because they're always blown up, they're always missing. And you can take an open differential dropout center, put a posi in it, but if you want a 10/10 restoration, you need a P case, and you need this, what was once in this full-sized Impala or Bel Air type axle. So you got to be observant in the junkyard. But anyway, let's get back to the Diamond T truck we're looking at here. And again, it's pretty typical of trucks of the day. Heavy gauge frame, leaf springs in the back, registered in Vermont. Last year, I don't know, what year do we have here? I can't really tell. 1957, agricultural on that. So this was last apparently, or at least that plate was issued in 57, put it like that. So it's probably out of business by 67, 68, who knows, 10 years later. Dual wheels on the back. Kind of interesting to come in here and notice how Diamond T handled the rear wheels. Again, heavy duty spokes. The hub is massive, full floating axles. You take these bolts out, the axle comes out in one piece, the wheel stays there. You can still roll it around as a flyer. But between the tires, look at this here. These cast separators right here that maintain equal distance between the inner and outer wheel, the flanges. Interesting stuff. And again, these are split rims, which are not dangerous if you know how to handle them. But with that said, if you don't, you can become an astronaut without wanting to be, as you air it up and go through the roof with 20,000 PSI pressure sending you along. Not good. This is a Chevrolet rear axle, torque tube stuff, 1954 back. And again, the torque tube is basically this thing here is, this does not rotate, rather inside is a drive shaft that is splined, and inside of this is a rotating drive shaft. Why Chevy did this? Well, you know, it was a remnant of the old days when you didn't want to expose, you didn't have U-joints that were as good as they are now. Better to keep things inside rather than dusty and filthy under the car. So torque tube was a way to protect the drive shaft and simplify manufacturing. But getting back to this truck, we can see here the headache rack made out of wood. And again, wood construction in trucks today is pretty much not done. But back then, you know, this is probably homemade, got some nails going on here. Right there. And tetanus, anyone? But anyway, not tetanus, get it? Okay, and here we have the chopped construction of the Diamond T cab. This is the beauty of it. And we can see right here that it's got plenty of headroom inside, but it's a very sleek, very, very streamlined looking design. This one here, of course, has, I believe, a 4-speed tranny. Here's the shift pattern on the firewall. And it's so a manual transmission, probably a granny gear in first, but notice how the windshield is, it can come out. Let me get around to the side here. Well, and these cranks right here would have worked little sort of articulated hinged frames that would pop the windows in or out for ventilation. And it's crazy how there's only one windshield wiper on this one. And again, 70-mile-an-hour speedometer, which theoretically, I guess you could do that. We'll come around, we'll close the door, come on up front here. And we can see once again this beautifully streamlined pontoon fender. And if you look at the windshield wipers on this, you'll see that there's only one on the driver's side. There's a block-off screw on the passenger side in the hole where the cab was pierced for it. But if you didn't pay extra, you didn't get that second windshield wiper. Let's pop the hood on this side. And again, here we have the Diamond T logo. That's brass. And it's screwed in very much like a, I don't know, 1910 kind of a technique right there. But again, nicely done. That would have been polished brass, would have stood out like a shiny penny and really added a bunch of eyeball. Very, very attractive. Okay, let's look inside. We got a weasel in here. Let's find out. A bear, maybe a hyena. Okay, more of the same. Another Hercules 6-banger. And here it is from the other side. And notice here on the bottom of the block, it says EE molybdenum. That word is cast in. In other words, there's a high degree of molybdenum, or moly, as they often say, in the iron mix, which makes it harder and longer lived. And again, it's interesting how Hercules bragged about the content of the metal by casting it into the side of the block. Here's that massive generator once again. Huge radiator. And again, it's interesting too how Diamond T hid the cap under the hood, rather than, sort of spoiling the looks of the radiator header with a cap, like Ford or Chevy might have done back in the day. So again, Diamond T trucks were more expensive. And here we have this is a plate right here. You love that log, don't you, Shane? I guess the junkyard is a minefield of stuff, but cautions and instructions. This is basically just telling you what to do. Diamond T motor cars, I believe Chicago, Illinois, I think. But there it is, all this originality hiding or being squandered maybe in plain sight. Is there a future for this particular truck? Well, theoretically, anything can be saved, and I dare say that to put this on a Ram 3500 chassis and just basically make a Patino rat rod out of this thing could be kind of fun. As far as putting this back into service with the original 6-popper and mechanical drum brakes and maybe 50-mile-an-hour top speed, that would be a fool's errand, as they say. Maybe a restorer of commercial vehicles would take the time and have the passion to make this thing back into square one. But I think a modification of this thing could be kind of fun. Leave the frame here, take that cab, put it on a modern chassis and have some fun with it. But anyway, this is just one of many trucks here in this particular junkyard, and we'll be back tomorrow with more Junkyard Crawl. Be sure to subscribe to the Steve Maggs YouTube channel. Ring the bell so you get updates and alerts when new videos come up, which is every single day. So we'll see you again tomorrow.